Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Hello there. Okay. Spider-Man No Way Home. Check out the podcast I did with on Words and Personality channel. Me and my buddy always do a podcast. Well, not always. We're going to get that to that point. We were, then things happened. Now we're kind of getting back into the rhythm. Yeah, go there for the actual podcast, for the actual talk, for everything. Because let's face it, everyone's talking about it, everyone's saying about how great it is, or everyone's just pointing out little details about, oh, Miles Morales has been hinted at here. It's just like, okay. I just want to say, I think it's glad that finally Andrew Garfield got the redemption for his story, because I absolutely loved him as Spider-Man. From the beginning. In The Amazing Spider-Man, I absolutely found him phenomenal to watch on screen as Spider-Man. Yes, I understand the movies were absolutely dreadful. The writing, some of the dialogue, the villains, everything was just like very plain. And Tobey Maguire, what made his so great was the villains. And I always got so much hate for saying Tobey Maguire is a very bland Peter Parker. Because that's all he is. He's just Peter Parker. He never is Spider-Man. He's always just Peter Parker. Andrew Garfield, you could tell he took on a different persona when he became Spider-Man, when he put on the suit. Tobey Maguire was Peter Parker, and Peter Parker, and Peter Parker. It's just like, how can Mary Jane not know this is who he is? And it's just like, one thing I absolutely did love was his redemption arc. His comparison with everyone else was just like, okay, the second he's introduced, you have fun with him. The second Tobey Maguire's introduced, it's just, meh. Well, for me, the whole audience cheered, but for me, it was just like, I've never cared for him, because I already knew what everyone was gonna get. Everyone was gonna see Andrew Garfield's the better character. It's just the way it is. He had terrible villains. If you took Andrew Garfield, like I always said, if you changed Tobey Maguire with anyone else, it either would have been the same exact movie or better. If they knew who Spider-Man was. So it's fascinating because let's face it, Tom Holland's Spider-Man has never had his own villain. It has always been somebody else's. It's been Iron Man's in the first two movies. It was, the other Spider-Man's villains in this movie. One thing I didn't really enjoy is, I guess they had so many villains, they had to pick their battles. So Doc Ock is the first boss fight. He gets his fight in the beginning of the movie. Green Goblin gets his fight in the middle of the movie. And then all the other villains get their fight in the end of the movie. And it's just like this montage, and I was like, I wished that Doc Ock and Green Goblin really had more. Sure, Green Goblin did have recurrence, but it would have been nice to see more if Doc Ock actually fought in the end. It just, because I've always loved Doc Ock. It's just one of those amazing characters, and the way they did it in like Spider-Man 2, still one of my favorites just because of Doc Ock. He is just struggling to be a good scientist, to have the power of the sun in the palm of his hand. I mean, even he had such an amazing arc, because at the very end of the movie, I mean, I've spoiled a ton, spoilers, just so you know. Most people who watch this would have already seen the movie, I assume, or just don't care, one way or the other. So it's one of those things that's just like, I watch it just for Andrew Garfield. I hated the fact that Doctor Strange was pushed to the side, and the fact that Ned got abilities so quickly, but you have to push Doctor Strange to the side or else the movie would have been over immediately. And yeah, it's just, Doc Ock should have gotten a bit more screen time. I understand why they did it, because then it would just seem like the screen was too crowded with people. But Andrew Garfield really does get his redemption arc at the very end of the film. There is a scene, and I was like, I already knew that everyone was going to pop into these films. You could tell just by the trailers, just like, yep, this is going to happen. So I rewatched them all, and it's just like, there is a scene which, if you would watch them all previously, well, I didn't actually see that one before watching the No Way Home before this movie, but I remember it vividly because it was the most impactful scene, most impactful moment for Andrew Garfield. And they referenced it also in Into the Spider-Verse. So yeah, it's been refreshed over and over again several times. So it was one of those things that's just like, we had enough that it was just like immediately we knew exactly what he felt in the moment. As soon as he started to tear up, as soon as he started to bawl, it felt like he had a redemption arc. It felt like he finally was at peace with himself. It looked as if he had been fighting with himself for years after The Amazing Spider-Man 2. It felt like he had finally gotten peace with that one action. And that's the only thing that's really worth, because everyone else, everything else that happened in the movie was just like meh. There were people in the audience who were fake crying when a mentor character died, but it was just like Andrew Garfield's scene, his redemption arc, that is where I was just like, that hits close to home. That hits like the nail on the head. That is it. That is what I wanted. Give me more Andrew Garfield. It's a Tom Holland movie, but I don't care about Tom Holland. Yeah, another issue is basically what made the Vulture so great is at the end of the movie, he knew Peter Parker's secret. The end of 2, everyone knows Peter Parker's secret. The end of 3, yeah. So it's just like, what was the point of the Vulture knowing? How is that? There's a lot of things that they're doing, a lot of speculation, because Mobius apparently knows Venom. It's a joke in the movie, but Venom isn't a part of Tom Holland's universe. However, Tom Holland's Spider-Man is in the background of one of the scenes. It's all over the place. I don't think they know what they're doing so far. Yeah, I'm just babbling at this point. It's definitely worth a watch. Definitely go to the theaters to see it. I know a lot of people are pirating it, but it's definitely worth watching. I'm gonna buy it as soon as it comes out because I need to have it a part of my library. I need to have it a part of my library. I have every other Spider-Man movie. Yes, including the Amazing Spider-Man movies, which I absolutely love, for Andrew Garfield. Always for Andrew Garfield. Oh no, small knives. You found my weakness. Yeah, thank you all for watching. Talk to you next time. Toodles!